Sometimes you need to play a different role to find out who you truly are. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and I've got an interesting young adult novel for you tonight, and it is The No Girlfriend Rule by Christen, Randall. And I quite enjoyed this one. I stumbled onto it by accident. It was a recommendation based on some things in my browsing history, and I believe notably it was Dungeons and Drama that queued this up for me. And I gave it a chance and I quite enjoyed it. So this is a little different for me, but I'm going to do a TLDR. If you like young adult novels about people discovering who they are and you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons and similar games, this is going to be right up your alley. It reads like a cross between Roll for Initiative, the novel about a girl getting into Dungeons and Dragons in spite of her gatekeeping brother, and the young adult novel Emojine, obviously, about a girl who heads off and visits some people at college and learns a heck of a lot more about herself in the process. And this reads like a mashup of those two books. I really enjoyed both of them. I really enjoyed this too. If you liked either of them, I recommend this. So, to get to the story, Hollis is in high school. She has a boyfriend named Chris, and his favorite thing in the world is to play a role-playing game with his friends every Friday night. The game they play is Secrets and Sorcery, an analog for Dungeons and Dragons that involves adventures and epic quests and magic and a secret keeper in lieu of a dungeon master. And their game has one primary rule: no girlfriends allowed. Hollis has never been allowed even in the room while the boys are playing Secrets and Sorcery. And she is forced to sit there on Monday mornings at school during their lunch break and hearing all about the adventures they had on Friday night, their recap of their epic quests and other nonsense, and knowing that she's never going to get to participate because of their rule. So she decides to try something new. She thinks that if she can prove to Chris that she has what it takes to play Secrets and Sorcery, that she'll eventually overcome the no girlfriend rule and she'll be allowed to play in their Friday night game. And so she signs up for a play session at a local game shop. It is a disaster. The people there are over the top and horrible, and if they're not gatekeepers, they are incredibly over-the-top role players who take the act of being a bard to mean that they can basically sexually harass Hollis all night long. And she's miserable. This is not fun. It's not the type of epic adventures and nonsense that Chris talks about, and she heads to leave. But on the way out, she sees a little poster with a pull tab at the bottom that's advertising for a girls' group of Secrets and Sorcery. So Hollis takes a chance. The ad sounded interesting, a girl-led adventure that's LGBTQ plus friendly, and she sends an email to the secret keeper for the group, a girl named Gloria. And even though Hollis missed the deadline, Gloria is willing to sign her up, and she and the others exchange a few chats over Discord and decide when their first session is going to be. And Hollis is incredibly nervous after her last experience and the no girlfriends rule. She doesn't know what to expect. And she gets there and is made to feel welcome and comfortable. The other players at the table, Gloria, their secret keeper, her younger sister, Fran, who's over the top excited, but in a good way. In addition to Gloria and her sister, there are three other girls, Iffy, Ina, and Maggie. And Hollis is a little bit intimidated them, but quickly is made to feel like she's welcome there. Gloria talks to them about what they hope to do and what they hope to get out of this, and her general expectations and how she likes to run games. It's a very friendly, welcome opening setup. When the players start talking about what characters they would like to be, Gloria is openly welcoming their characters and saying that they should pick something they're really interested in playing. And when Hollis's first choice is Sorcerer is claimed by another girl at the table, she sort of demurs and says, well, I'll take whatever we need in the party. And Gloria's quick to say, well, no, I don't want to play that way. I don't want anyone feeling like they have to fill a role they're not interested in. They shouldn't have to cram themselves in. And in the course of things, Hollis ends up playing a Paladin. And things go from there. She talks about her Paladin wearing plate mail because it's something she read about. Gloria wants to keep the game under control and not have Hollis wearing some super heavy-duty armor you would get much later in a campaign, and comes up with a great compromise that she has a plate mail breastplate that is interwoven with her personal backstory. And it serves as this great compromise and lets Hollis know that this is going to be a collaborative game. It is going to be a fun game where their ideas are welcome, where they are welcome. And it's great. Now, there are a few bumps in the road. Her boyfriend's friends who play Secrets and Sorcery with him are openly dismissive of her game and what's happening in it when she joins the Monday morning recap with tales of her own adventures. And there are a few bumps in the road as Hollis tries to figure out how much she's comfortable sharing with this group of girls and how much she's willing to let them into her life. But it's basically a good thing all around. It starts to fall apart later on, much later in the story, though, when things are going too good and it's making her question things about her life, about herself, about who she is, about her relationship with Chris, about her in-character romance at the table with another player's character, and things fall apart. As I said before, this was really good, folks. Hollis is a likable character. I felt a ton of sympathy for her. I think the stuff Randall tapped into here is fairly universal. We've all wanted to try a hobby or new activity or sport or game and been made to feel unwelcome by the gatekeepers out there. And sometimes you can have that same thing, but with a different group or different other person who isn't a gatekeeper, who wants to do this collaboratively with you, who wants you to feel welcome there, and it can make a world of difference. I can't speak for everyone, but when I was growing up, I really was not a fan of art class in school. I disliked it a whole lot. It wasn't until I started exploring it on my own and doing it with people I wanted to do art with, rather than the dictates of an art teacher and classmates who I felt were more talented than me, that I actually found that, hey, I enjoy doing some of this stuff. It's relaxing, it's creative, it's fun. It was finding that right group, or, right solitude. It's a very, very identifiable feeling. Hollis's relationship with Chris, I think, is probably really identifiable for a lot of people. The idea that you're in a relationship with someone and that you've been together for so long that there's a type of inertia that happens, and it's familiar, it's comfortable, and that's the extent of it. And it was really, really good. If you're a young adult fan, if you are a fan of Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games, if you liked Dungeons & Drama, if you liked Roll for Initiative and you want something a little older, if you liked stories like Imogen, obviously, give this a try. You will not regret it. Now, just briefly, this is a young adult novel, but Randall exercised quite a bit of restraint here. This is a novel about Hollis exploring who she is. It is not a novel about Hollis exploring sex. There is no explicit content in this book. she kisses one of the girls at her game. And that's the extent of anything physical in this book. So you don't have to worry about recommending this to someone and then finding out that there was a half dozen pages of pretty adult-oriented content in it. This one's a lot friendlier to the middle teenagers. Now, there are spoilers ahead because I have to talk about the deal breaker. The deal breaker is simply this. As with some other books I've recommended on this channel, I think there's a pretty good chance this one is going to be swept up in the book banning craze happening in some parts of the world. Because in the course of the book, Hollis discovers that maybe she's not a 0 on the Kinsey scale, that she may have feelings for another girl, and kisses her. And that might be enough to set off the ban hammer by some of the less than library-friendly folks out there. And that's sad, because I thought it was a sweet, good-hearted book about finding yourself and finding your group of people who you can be yourself with. In short, I liked it. I'm looking forward to what else Randall comes out with, and I'll be keeping an eye out for it at my local public library. On that note, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer. A few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If, by some chance, you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for listening to me talk all about how great this one is. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back and see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.